Tonight's story is not like the others. It begins quietly. In a place where something small changes everything. Stay with me. This is a tale from Talechka. Once upon a time, in a distant land where the sun rose slowly over golden hills and set behind forests that whispered ancient secrets, there lived a king of great power and even greater ambition. This king desired not only wealth or glory, but wonder. And so, he built a palace unlike any the world had ever seen. Its towers pierced the sky like silver spears. Its walls shimmered in the light, as if each stone held a piece of the sun itself. Marble staircases curved like flowing water, and gardens bloomed in perfect harmony, their fragrance carried on the wind for miles. People came from far and wide just to look upon it. Yet among all those who visited, there was one who stood apart. A young man. Every day, at the same hour, he would arrive quietly. He did not speak. He did not marvel aloud like the others. Instead, he walked slowly around the palace, observing every detail, every arch, every window, every carved ornament. He would stop, measure with his eyes, trace shapes in the air, and think. For 7 days, he returned. On the 7th day, the king, watching from a high balcony, grew suspicious. Who is this young man, he wondered, who looks not with admiration, but with intent? And so, he ordered the guards to bring him forward. The young man stood calmly before the king, neither afraid nor arrogant. "Tell me," said the king, his voice firm, "why do you study my palace so closely? Do you plan to steal from me?" The young man bowed respectfully. "No, your majesty. I study it because I wish to build you another, exactly like it." The court fell silent. The king leaned forward. "You?" he said, raising an eyebrow. "Build this?" "Yes," the young man replied steadily. "Give me 30 days. Give me workers, materials, everything I request, and I will build its equal." There was something in his voice, not pride, but certainty. The king considered him carefully. "Very well," he said at last. "You shall have what you ask. But hear me well, if even a single brick remains unused, or if you ask for even 1 nail more than you have requested, you will pay with your life." "So be it," said the young man. The work began at once. Materials arrived in great quantities: wood, stone, tiles, nails, sand, lime. Workers labored from dawn until dusk. The young man directed everything with precision. He wasted no movement, no word, no resource. The king, unwilling to be deceived, placed guards everywhere. They counted every brick, every beam. Nothing escaped their watchful eyes. Days passed. Then weeks. And on the 30th day, just as promised, the palace stood complete. It was identical. So perfect that even the king himself could not tell one from the other. And not a single piece of material remained. The king was astonished. "Tell me," he said, smiling for the first time in days, "how shall I reward you?" The young man paused, then said, "I ask for only one thing. A letter, signed by you, declaring that there is no greater craftsman in your kingdom than I." The king laughed softly. "Only that? Then you shall have it." And so, the letter was written, sealed, and given. But the story does not end there. For true worth is not always proven by titles. The young man, confident in his skill, traveled onward. In time, he came to work under an old Armenian craftsman, a man whose hands were worn by years, whose eyes had seen more than they revealed. One day, the young man noticed the old man shaping wood. And something about it seemed wrong. He hesitated, but only for a moment. "Master," he said, "that is not the right way." The old man froze. Slowly, he turned. "And you would know better than I?" he asked. "I do," said the young man, showing his letter. "But wisdom is not written on paper." They argued. Voices rose. And soon, they stood before a judge. The letter was shown. The claims were made. Yet in the end, the judge spoke. The old man is the greater craftsman. The word struck like thunder. Furious, the young man returned to the king. Your letter means nothing, he cried. No one believes it. The king, angered, summoned the old craftsman. What can you do, he demanded, to prove your skill surpasses his? The old man answered calmly. Give me 40 days inside your palace, and I will show you. The king agreed. Then he turned to the young man. And you? The young man smiled faintly. I need only 40 gold coins. And on the 41st day, I will prove myself, in minutes. For 40 days, the old craftsman worked in silence, hidden away. The young man, meanwhile, seemed to do nothing at all. He ate. He drank. He waited. People whispered. Had he lost his gift? Had he been a fraud? Then came the 41st day. The court gathered. The old man stepped forward with a small box. He turned it. And music filled the air. Soft. Beautiful. Enchanting. It seemed alive. The crowd gasped. Can he do this? The old man asked. Doubt spread like shadow. Then the young man spoke. It is beautiful, he said. But watch closely. He stepped outside. When he returned, he carried a simple sack. Close your eyes, he said. They obeyed. In silence, he worked, quickly, precisely. Now, he said, open them. Before them stood a horse. Not just any horse, but one so lifelike, so elegant, it seemed ready to breathe. The young man mounted it. He turned a hidden mechanism. And suddenly, impossibly, the horse rose into the air. It soared through the palace windows, into the open sky. Gasps turned to cries of wonder. He circled above them like a bird of legend, then returned, landing softly before the stunned crowd. Now, he said quietly, who is the greater craftsman? And this time, there was no doubt. The king wrote him a second letter. And the young man, now satisfied, prepared to leave. Before he did, he gave the horse's parts to a servant girl. Burn them, he said. Let no one learn this secret. But fate had other plans. The king's son saw the parts. Curious, he studied them. Learned. Understood. And soon, he flew. Far away, to a distant land. Where love, and destiny, awaited him. And the young craftsman? He wandered the world. Creating. Astonishing. Living not for wealth, but for the joy of mastery. And he was happy. Because true greatness is not just in skill, but in imagination, courage, and the power to create wonder where none existed before. If this story made your evening a little calmer, you can like the video and subscribe for more bedtime tales. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new story.